Greetings, Upstanders. Dr. O here, and you see the stories that are coming out about Maine candidate Graham Platner, Maine Senate candidate, and so many things that have been talked about in terms of his past posts, and everything from having a Nazi tattoo that he's had covered over, the comments, excusing rape in the military with people who are being inebriated. What do you expect? Asking questions about when he was a bartender, why don't black people tip? Throwing all cops under the bus as being corrupt. Dissing, white rural folks, basically saying like they're idiots. And we've run down the list of things that this guy said in the post. And my question is, as people have raised him as the darling, as the savior of the Democratic Party, basically the Mamdani of Maine, right, or Maine's Mamdani, it's very interesting and surprising that people haven't vetted this guy. That they haven't vetted this. Maybe if Bernie Sanders spend more time looking into his own candidate's past than he has with talking about why Kamala Harris lost the election, maybe he would know this stuff. Or maybe he knows this stuff and doesn't care. But what bothers me is that the vetting that has not taken place on this guy. Now, he could not believe in any of that stuff anymore, but these are things that basic searches for people who are journalists and people who are involved in the media should be doing when they're going to have a candidate on. And I've seen him on a lot of the independent podcasts that I like and watch regularly, like Midas, like the I've Had It podcast, like I've seen him on the network, CNN and MSNBC, and everybody just raises him up as this darling, as this guy who's going to change everything, and he's the people need in the moment, the guy we've been looking for. He's not a corporate Democrat and all of that other type of stuff. And look, I've enjoyed a lot of things that he says, but if you're in the media, you have to vet him. You have to vet anybody that you're going to have on your show. Otherwise, you look like you don't know how to do your job, or you look like you're complicit. Maybe you do know these things and you just don't care to bring them up. This is going to tank later. I mean, look, the Republicans, they can get away with stories like this making the news, and J.D. Vance saying these people are just kids, and the kids are going to do kids things, even though they did those things as adults. Platner did these things as adults as well. And so far, Republicans are going to run with it because they have selective memories, and they're going to ignore the Nazi group chat and the MLK Day should go to hell group chat. They're going to ignore all of that and zero in on Platner right now. And in addition to the media doing their job in terms of vetting him properly, Platner also should have come forward with this stuff publicly in the beginning, and it wouldn't be an issue now. Say, hey, I used to think this. Hey, I said this. I mean, the way he talked about the whole military thing, he kind of threw his military unit under the bus. This is kind of how it was, the dark humor of military or whatever it is that he said. You should have just come out and said, yeah, I harbored these ideas. I thought this about cops. I said this, but now cops are my friends and I see that blah, blah, blah. I said this about black people. It was racist to say that. And now you should have been more forthcoming. But people need to vet this stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, his his political director, because Bernie Sanders hasn't said anything. Ken Martin said the comments were bad, but he continues to support him. I said I don't think they're disqualifying, but certainly they're not right. But you shouldn't put Martin in a position like that. If you're going to start looking for Democratic support, you got to be up front with what could come out about these issues. And his campaign manager, Genevieve McDonald, resigned from the campaign. Now, did McDonald feel like, she was lied to or something like that? I don't know. Maybe McDonald will speak more about that later. But I was looking for another comment McDonald said. She said maybe he didn't know, talking about the tattoo, maybe he didn't know it when he got it, but he got it years ago and he should have had it covered up because he knows damn well what it means. And, another former associate claimed that Platner once jokingly referred to the tattoo as my Totenkopf, referencing the German term that the Nazis used for the symbol. This is from the Blavity website. And so this is a problem for Democrats going forward. And I get how people don't want to have corporate Democrats and all that other type of stuff around, but you can't take somebody who just looks at, as the person of the moment, the man of the moment, or the woman of the moment, and make them the man of the century, right? I don't know what this is going to do to his campaign. I know there's a town hall that's coming up where he's going to have to answer some of these questions, but people need to do it. Look, I feel like with Mamdani, who he didn't just pop up, he's been an assemblyman and so on and so forth, love him or hate him. I feel like people have a long history of time to get information out on him. But Platner and some of these other ones, people just kind of took him up as, the guy you just want to have a beer with. And so we're going to bring him up here, and we're going to plateau this individual. And again, I'm not saying anything about him. I don't know anything about him. I'm not saying this is dooming his campaign. I'm not saying that what he's saying in terms of his recognition of what he did was wrong. I'm not saying that that's hypocritical or anything like that. I don't know what's going to happen. He's clearly going to stay in. I don't know what's going to happen with his campaign. But what I think is that, people are too quick to look for politicians as their savior. And when we do that, mistakes can get made. I was listening to Reverend Al Sharpton say on the show the other day that at the March on Washington, and I never knew this, at the March on Washington, there were no politicians who spoke on the stage. It was activists. It was we the people. And now, if a politician doesn't show up at a rally, oh, they're a corporate Democrat, or they're taking money from AIPAC, or they don't represent the people. Now, don't get me wrong. Politicians should be showing up, and elected officials should be showing up. But I think we've put a little bit too much into looking at them as in a savior complex, that when situations like this happen, it could be very deflating for people. So I think he's going to lose some support. I think there are going to be people who are going to rock with him, no doubt. I can't really see him increasing support. People rallying around him, quite honestly, like they do Trump. It's like, and some people like him, it's like no matter the more racist things he says, the more popular he seems to get. I can't really see that happening on the Democratic side. So, but I'd be interested to know what y'all think. And, the Maine race is a big race. And I think that he messed up by not divulging this at the very least to his campaign people, because I don't think Genevieve would have quit had she known. I don't know if Bernie Sanders would have still supported him if he knew about this stuff. But you got to confront these things head on. You got to confront these issues head on. Otherwise, we put in ourselves situations like this. So y'all who follow the Platner race, y'all know how more about him than I do. Y'all know whether he's still talking about things that represent these types of ideas. It doesn't seem like he is. What do y'all think? Should he be forgiven? Is forgiveness not even something to even have a conversation about? Because, he's a different person now and doesn't seem to espouse those types of views. I mean, he was dancing, naked with a shirt off with that tattoo visible. So it's just like, then got it covered up. I don't know, y'all. Hit that like, subscribe. Let me know what y'all think. Let's get to 25,000 subscribers. And, like I always like to say, why settle for outstanding when you can be upstanding? Peace.